problems. I'm going to focus on this word problem there. And we're going to work through it. So what I'm going to do while I read the word problem is put it over here. And then once I have all the information, I can work from there. So I'm going to start with my UPS check because it's a word problem, and we're always going to start with an UPS check. So UPS check, and then always get your, I should have moved my check over, your diamond in there as well for the question that we're answering. So I'm going to read my problem. Before I read my problem, I got to fill in my spots. So my U stands for understand, plan or picture, solve, and then check. So I'm going to read my problem. Mr. Phillips is organizing a field trip for 4th grade. There are 124 students, 6 teachers, and 18 parents going on the trip. They are taking vans. Each van can hold 7 people. How many vans are needed so everyone can go on the field trip? So there's my question. That's what I'm going to write in the center. How many vans are needed so everyone can go on the field trip? I'm going to kind of condense that to how many vans are needed. How many vans are needed? Now, for understand, I'm going to go back through my problem and I'm going to write down the important information that they gave me. So I'm going to read it again. Mr. Phillips is organizing a field trip for 4th grade. Well, I don't need that to solve the problem. There are 124 students. That I'm going to need to know. 124 students. 6 teachers. Going to need to know that. And 18 parents. Going on a trip. Okay. They're taking vans. Okay. Each van can hold 7 people. Gonna need to know that. So they're taking vans, and each one can hold 7 people. How many vans are needed so everyone can go on the trip? Okay, so I have that question there. Now I'm gonna go over to my plan and to my picture. So I've got these people that are going on the trip, and this is how they're going. Okay, well, I can relate to that. I can understand that. I've gone on a field trip before, and when we go on field trips, we have students. Yes, we have that many students because we have multiple classes that are going. Teachers, yes, we have teachers that go, and parents that go. Okay, I can totally understand that. And then we've got these vans. Well, normally we take buses, and these vans only hold they only hold 7 people. But okay, we can figure this out. First, I need to know, well, how many people are going on this field trip. So if I want to know how many people are going on this field trip, I would need to combine all of this. So I would need to say, well, I've got the students plus the teachers plus the parents. And I'm going to break that up into these vans. There's a van, there's a van, there's a van, more vans, more vans, more vans. And each van can hold 7 people. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. So far, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vans. And that means that they can hold, I gotta know my 7s. 7 times 8 would be 56. That's 56 people. Whoa, well, I've got a lot more than 56 people because I've got that many students. Okay, well, I think I've got a plan for this. I've got a total that I'm breaking up into groups. Well, whenever I've got groups, I'm either using multiplication or division. Are my groups getting bigger that I'm combining? No, well, here I have a total that I'm breaking apart. So I'm not combining. If I'm breaking apart, I'm using division. Okay, I think I have a plan. Let's go over to solve. So I first need to figure out my total. I need to add And then I'm going to need to divide to find out how many vans I need. So I'm going to add my students. 124 plus 6. 4 plus 6 is 10. Drop down my 0 and regroup my 1. 1 plus 2 plus nothing would be 3. 1 plus nothing would be 1. I have 130. Don't forget about your parents. Add in that 18. 0 plus 8 is 8. 3 plus 1 is 4. And then 1 plus nothing would be 1. I've got 148 people that are going on my trip. And I need to break that into 7 vans. So long division, 148 broken up by 7. And I'm going to rewrite that actually a little bit bigger so I can break that up into my rooms. And I'm going to have my SEPs, does, McDonald's, so cheeseburgers. And then I'm going to write my multiples of 7, so I remember 7. And then I'm going to say, okay, well, how many times does 7 go into 1? Well, I get to 7, and that's already too much for 1, so 0 times. Multiply 7 times 0, and that is 0. I'm going to subtract 1 minus 0, well, that's 1. And then I'm going to check, is 1 smaller than 7? Yes, 1 is smaller than 7. And then I'm going to bring it up to my next room, and now I've got 14. And I'm going to divide. Well, 7 goes into 14, and even 2 times. I'm going to multiply 7 times 2, and I get 14. I'm going to subtract 14 minus 14 is 0. I'm going to check, is 0 smaller than 7? Yes. I'm going to bring up 0 to my next room, and when I bring a 0 in front of 8, it doesn't change the value of 8, it's still just 8. So now 7 goes into 8. Well, it goes in 1 time. 7 times 1 is 7. I'm going to subtract 8 minus 7 is 1. I'm going to check, is 1 smaller than 7? Yes, it's smaller than 7, so I would normally bring it up, but there's no place to bring it up to, so 1 is going to be my remainder, and it is going to, my quotient will be 21, remainder 1. So now if it starts in words, it needs to end in words. So I need to think about, well, my question is how many vans are needed? Okay, so it would be 21, wait a minute, 21 remainder 1 vans? What's remainder 1? Well, let me think about this. Let me think about what this is asking me. If it says how many vans are needed, I know I need 21 vans, but I've still got a remainder of 1. Well, what are we talking about? We're talking about people fitting into vans. Well, if I've got a remainder or a piece left over of something, I can't have a piece of a van. I need to get a whole nother van. So I'm not going to have 21 remainder 1. I'm actually going to have 22 vans. Okay, now I got this. I'm going to have 22 vans are needed. Got it. How do I check this? Okay, well, When I'm checking numbers, division, I'm going to use the inverse operation. I'm going to use multiplication. What two numbers do I multiply? I would multiply the numbers that are trying to get into the house. So here I would multiply 21 times 7. What about my remainder? Well, hold that off to the side. We'll get to that in a minute. 21 times 7. 1 times 7 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Now comes my remainder. I'm going to add that in, and I'd get 148. And that is how many people I started out with. Checks out. Okay, you do have to think about a lot of the time what your quotients mean with your problem solving for division. So be super, super careful about not just following the steps with your word problems, but actually thinking about what does my quotient mean. Okay, that's where starting in words and ending in words is super important, because it forces you to think about what does this answer actually mean. Okay. Good luck with that.